House Church kids. It's Katie again. I hope last week you had a really good time talking about how Jesus had a lot of the same feelings that we have. This week, we're going to talk more about our feelings in a different way. But first, let's gather our supplies. This week, there is one thing that you should have prepared ahead of time. And I sent out a message to the parents so that they could get that prepared for you. And if not, you can do this activity tomorrow with your parents and get it ready right now. But what you're going to need is some ice. So you're going to need the iceberg that you made out of ice in a bowl or ice in a Ziploc bag or ice in a balloon. You're going to need a bin, maybe a storage bin for your iceberg to float in, full of water. You're going to need a ruler. You're going to need a dropper or a syringe, and maybe a bowl of salt. You're also going to need a Ziploc bag, water, and as many very, very, very sharp pencils as you can find. Or colored pencils work fine too. That's good too. Okay. So when it's time for those activities, you'll go get all those things. Make sure you have them all on hand so that you can grab them for the activities today. Okay, let's get right into it. First, let's just do our discussion questions. So, discussion question number 1. What are you thankful for this week? Go ahead and make sure everybody gets a turn to talk and say as much as they want about what they're thankful for this week, and pause. Okay, welcome back. Question number 2. Who is someone that you could do something kind for this week? And what could you do for them? What's something you could do for someone that is really kind this week? Everybody take a turn talking about that and go. Okay. And there's one more discussion question, and I want you to take as much time as you want with this one because it's fun. What is your favorite story? Just your favorite story ever. And I want you to go around the room telling your favorite stories. So do your best to remember your favorite story and tell it to each other. And go. Okay, hi. Welcome back. I hope you guys got to catch up and had fun talking about those things. So we're going to talk about today our emotions again, our feelings again. And today we're going to talk about how our feelings relate to our stories. Everyone has a story. And when we meet people, we can't see their whole story. We can see how they're acting. We can hear what they tell us. But there's always so much more under the surface. Our stories are like an iceberg. We can see what's on the surface. We can see the ice on the surface, but underneath is just a huge amount of matter. And in our stories, every single person, God knows our stories inside and out. He knows all that's under the surface and loves us. And something that's important to remember too, not only is it important to remember that God knows our stories, but it's also important to know that every person that we meet, we may see their emotions on their face, but we don't know the story behind those emotions. We don't know everything that's underneath. So another thing about God and our stories is that He can also make everything in our life story and everything in the story of the world right in the end. So we have hope in in Jesus. And nothing else in the world can do that. God says he is the living water. And if we drink his living water, we will never thirst. Know this, and life can make you feel all the feelings. It can make you feel sad. It can make you feel mad. It can make you feel happy. It can make you feel excited. It can make you feel confused, all at the same time. But while you're feeling all those feelings, knowing Jesus and his word can give you hope always at the same time and can give you joy of the Lord. And that will fill you up. You won't be hungry. You won't be thirsty. No matter what. Okay. Let's do some activities to just put some meaning behind all these things that we're talking about. We are going to do our iceberg activity. So get out your iceberg, and I'm going to send you to a video in a moment that I took demonstrating how to do the iceberg activity. Here it is. Measure your iceberg while it's outside of the water. Then measure it while it's inside of the water. Notice how much you can see and how much is underneath the water now. This is just like our stories. We can only see what's at the surface. God knows everything that's underneath. Now use salt and warm water and syringes to melt your ice and find the prizes that are inside your iceberg. Have fun! Okay, welcome back. I hope you had fun with that iceberg activity, and I hope you had some treasures in your eyes to find, and that you were able to have a meaningful conversation about that. Next, we're going to connect this iceberg idea about our stories being like icebergs with Jesus being the living water, and how he knows us through and through, and how he can make our stories right and make us never thirst. So we're going to read a Bible story called The Woman at the Well. And if you want to, you can read this story on your own in your house church, and it comes from the book of John. And the story is called Jesus and the Samaritan Woman. So I'm going to read it to you right now, but feel free to skip over this and just read it together too. It's up to you. Okay. Jesus and the Samaritan Woman. The Pharisees heard that Jesus was making and baptizing more followers than John. But really, Jesus himself did not baptize people. His followers did the baptizing. Jesus knew that the Pharisees had heard about him. So he left Judea and went back to Galilee. On the way, he had to go through the country of Samaria. In Samaria, Jesus came to a town called Sychar. I think that's how you say that. This town is near the field that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. And Jacob's well was there. A well is where you would draw water to drink and use for the day. So Jacob's well was there. Jesus was tired from his long trip, so he sat down beside the well. Now it was about noon, and a Samaritan woman came to the well to get some water. Jesus said to her, "Please, give me a drink." This happened while Jesus' followers were in town buying some food. Jesus was alone. Then the woman said, "I'm surprised that you asked me for a drink. You are a Jew, and I am a Samaritan." And Jews and Samaritans are not good friends. They don't usually talk to each other. But Jesus is different. Jesus said, "You don't know what God gives, and you don't know who asked you for a drink just now. If you knew, you would have asked me, and I would have given you living water." The woman said, "Sir, where will you get that living water? The well is very deep, and you have nothing to get water with." "Are you greater than Jacob, our father? Jacob is the one who gave us this well. He drank from it himself. Also, his sons and flocks drank from it." Jesus answered, "Every person who drinks this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks the water I give will never be thirsty again. The water I give will become a spring of water flowing inside him. It will give him eternal life." The woman said to him, "Sir, give me this water. Then I will never be thirsty again, and I will not have to come back here to get more water." Jesus told her, "Go, get your husband and come back here." The woman answered, "But I have no husband." Jesus said to her, "You are right to say you have no husband. I know that. Really, you have had 5 husbands, but the man you live with now is not your husband. You told the truth." The woman said, "Sir, I can see that you are a prophet. Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, but you Jews say that Jerusalem is the place where people must worship." Jesus said, "Believe me, woman, the time is coming when you will not have to be in Jerusalem or on this mountain to worship the Father. You Samaritans worship what you don't understand. We Jews understand what we worship. Salvation comes from the Jews. The time is coming when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. That time is now and here. And these are the kinds of worshipers the Father wants. God is spirit. Those who worship God must worship in spirit and truth." The woman said, "I know that the Messiah is coming." Messiah is the one called Christ. "When the Messiah comes, he will explain everything to us." Then Jesus said, "He's talking to you now. I am he." Just then, his followers came back from town. They were surprised because they saw Jesus talking with a woman, but none of them asked, "What do you want?" or "Why are you talking with her?" Then the woman left her water jar and went back to town. She said to the people, "A man told me everything I have ever done. Come and see him. Maybe he is the Christ." So the people left town and went to see Jesus. While the woman was away, the followers were begging him, "Teacher, eat something." But Jesus answered, "I have food to eat that you know nothing about." Okay. I'm going to stop there. So Jesus gave the woman living water, and she went and she gave it to others. She went and told everybody, and those people then knew about Jesus and knew that he was here and that he was going to save them. So let's see, where are we? There was so much more to the woman at the well's story than her being different or sinful. And Jesus knew that, and he loved her. You see, all those things that are under the water that are unseen, God sees. And he gives us our living water so that we don't have to fill our sad spaces, our thirsty or hungry spaces with things from the world. Now, let's go ahead and do our activity about the woman at the well. When you do this activity, I want you to talk about how if you were to just poke holes in this bag, you could put things in there that might stop the leak for a little while, but poking holes in the bag is going to make the water leak out. And in our lives, we try to use temporary things to fill our sad spaces and our confused spaces and our scared spaces. We use things like food, like toys or money, or many things that are from the world to try and fill those things. And it might feel like it works for a minute, but only Jesus has the truth that will keep us from going thirsty. So go ahead and watch the demo video of our living water activity. Ezra, what is your hypothesis?
So I think it's going to explode.
You ready for this?
Yes.
1, can you count to 3 for me? Can I do it over your head?
No. I want you to do it over the ground.
1, 2.
No, the ground.
Look, it's okay.
Oh.
No panic. I'm not really going to do it if you don't want me to.
Oh, man. Whoa.
There you go. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Welcome back. I hope that was fun. I was really surprised, and Ezra was definitely really surprised by that science activity. And I hope you can find some time to talk about polymers too, because that's an interesting science discussion. So we can remember that everyone has a story behind the way we see them look and act. We can pray and we can ask each other good questions when we don't understand each other. And we can know that God loves them just as He loves us, and that He is our hope. So I want to give you one more optional activity in case you have extra time today. You can play a game called Iceberg Hop, where you're just going to go get some white poster board and cut out circle-y shapes and put them on the floor, and you can jump from iceberg to iceberg. Maybe tape them down so you don't slip. And you're going to hop from iceberg to iceberg. You can do different silly things while you do this, like cover your eyes or put your hands on your head. But just have fun doing that if you have extra time. And yeah, that's all I have for you today. Have fun doing these things. Have fun being together. If you're at your home today and not in a house church, I hope that you're having a good family day. And we miss you all. We love you all. And I'll see you next time.